my name is Faith Kilonzi.
I'm Rona Joy Kome.
I'm Diana Mungena.
And I am Miriam Wikali. And together we are
Global Tech Sailors. This is a podcast where we explore the latest trends and technologies in the world of
cybersecurity,
data science,
software engineering,
DevOps,
and many more.
Welcome aboard.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of GTS podcast. Hi Faith, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm good.
How
Pretty
is that
excited.
going?
Well, this week has been crazy. Just to work and trying to balance work and school, but so far so good. So it's doable. I'm pretty much.
It is doable.
Yes.
It is doable. Mwikali, how are you?
Why are you almost preaching, Rona? Anyway.
Mwikali, why are you always throwing this banter?
Banter. It's
Yeah,
banter.
always.
No, I am glad that Rona knows this is
Never
banter.
an option.
Violence is key. Anyway,
Yes.
This week has been okay. We are sailing through, so no much of worries. We are good.
Great to hear Mwix. I call her Mwix. How are you, Diana? How is
Great.
it going?
I'm grateful for being here today. My
It's
week,
gratitude.
Oh, it's
Gosh.
gratitude.
my week has been great. I had some anxiety, but niko sawa.
You're good.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That's good. That's
Great
good.
to hear. I am happy to hear that everyone had a beautiful, good week.
How are you, Rona?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. I was waiting for you guys to not ask me how I am doing.
Okay.
I am doing well, and
Yeah.
so far so good. Nothing much, nothing new. For today we have a very interesting topic, and that episode, and we want first of all to say thank you so much for the great feedback we have had for our second episode. We would also want to know, did you guys enjoy? Do you feel like you would need more an in-depth session of us explaining all those careers that we left out, or do you feel like you have had enough? But so far, thank you so much for the feedback. We really appreciate each and every one of you. I mean,
Especially for those who shared. I think
Yeah.
you've received a lot of followers from Instagram.
we have.
Yes, so Instagram we are at GTech Sailors.
Yes.
Then on Twitter we are GTech Sailors, Global Tech Sailors on YouTube and across every other platform. So
Yes.
thank you guys.
Thank
Keep sending
you.
the feedback. Keep
Please
sending
do,
the
please
feedback.
do. You're the
If you
ones
want
who
to be
keep
a
us
guest,
going.
because we introduce that segment later,
Yes.
then they should also shoot us a message on our social media platforms. It will be very, very nice if you want to be a part of this and give us your insights on various topics, or if you want to share your journey with us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I want to dive into our topic for today, and the topic is, I'm waiting for you guys to sing like a choir.
So our topic basically is about tips to how to land your first job, how to interview in tech, and how to basically prepare towards the job interviews and all that kind of thing. So
Yes.
think of it as a 101 towards job search in tech.
Yeah,
Yes.
job hunting.
So
Yes.
job hunting in tech. Yes. So I'm gonna start off with my first point, which is, I think this is very, I don't know, like it's very direct, and the point is you have to prepare for the interviews. Of course, for all the other jobs you have to prepare for interviews, but for this particular one, what I want to emphasize on the preparation part is, number one, data structures and algorithms. Guys, there is no way we are avoiding that particular topic in tech.
Yeah.
So I would want, as you prepare for those jobs and applying for them, make sure that you're giving yourself time to understand these data structures and algorithms. I think I took it as a joke when I was in campus. I really thought it was for the exams. I did for the exams, but now you come out here and realize that's the basics, the foundation of software development. And in terms of preparation, that's where things like salary negotiations come in. Make sure you know how to negotiate for your salary and such things. Do you guys how else do we or can we prepare for interviews?
Understanding the company portfolio. What does the company do? What does it engage? Understanding the company portfolio. What does the company do? Because you'll go to an interview and they'll ask you, what is Basigo? And you don't have an idea. They'll just take you as a joke. So to avoid that, just go to their portfolio, get to see what they do, who they interact with, who they have partnered with. Their stories, so that you are not blank during the interview.
And this applies to even if you're not applying for a tech role, really, or coding or non-coding, all the roles. Basically, you need to know what is this company. If you're asked a question, you should be able to answer it from and even give examples of what the company does or some of the products that the company does. I think it's usually very intriguing for an interviewer to realize that you actually know something about the company. And I was reading somewhere that sometimes you don't necessarily need to read the company's mission word by word. The only thing that you need to do is be able to to just explain it from a place of your own understanding, just to showcase that you know what they do and you're ready to get on there. Then I think also in the age of information, again, a lot of companies keep repeating the same interview questions over and over again. There are a lot of places you can get information like Glassdoor.
Glassdoor.
Especially on the part where you said negotiation, I just thought about how sometimes you're applying for a junior role or a mid-level role, and you've already seen at Glassdoor that the average salary for this company at this particular position, they pay maybe 100,000. Then you should be able to maybe quote from there, and also from a place of how do you now, based on your experience, how do you maybe quote the correct salary for you, and also with all the information you have, and how can you revise questions based on what they've asked people before.
Yes. And again, to circle back on my DSA, Kilonzi talked about platforms, and I remember that there are so many platforms that you can actually practice these data structures questions. We have platforms like LeetCode, which offer these DSA questions on if you are probably interviewing for Google or Microsoft, and you can be able to know maybe this practice on the questions that may be asked. So that's one on
And also to add on what Rona said, when you fail one interview doesn't mean it's the end of the road. I've basically failed interviews in the past because of, I'd say, lack of preparedness, where you'd find maybe I was interacting with a certain language. I'd give a very good example. There was a time I interacted with Python so much that me switching back to a different syntax or a different language was kind of hard. So I remember getting this interview, and I was like, I still think I can ace it, and I didn't see the need to prepare. But I ended up losing the opportunity because of simple mistakes, like very petty mistakes. But that didn't mean that it was the end of the road for me. I got back and I got to learn that in as much as you are learning all these languages, try at least focus on the simple data structures and algorithms on how to solve these different problems that you're given.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Marianne.
To add on to that, don't start at later. You have an interview tomorrow, you start doing data structures tonight. Start now.
The
time
I've
is
seen
now.
people who quit jobs specifically to prepare for the next job.
There
Like
is.
someone takes like 6 months. I like data structures and algorithms, but I just don't like them for interviews. But I mean, everyone. I feel like most people don't like this because it's mentally exhausting. It's too
gives
like
people anxiety.
God. I remember when I was doing an interview for Google. like I was in constant panic mode, trying to figure out what can I do, like
What
you're
will they
practicing what they ask and all that. Like it's too much. But I mean, right now, the good thing is not every company that's hiring a developer is going to ask you data structures and algorithm, and that's why it's good to do a research. There are companies that will give you a project for you to do. So if you're interviewing for a role that requires you to know data analytics, figure out which tool do they use. Are you using Spark? Are they using Power BI? And are they using Tableau? So just know which specific tools and technologies they use, so that you can prepare with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
I think
true.
we've exhausted that point very well, right?
We could go on and on, guys, but
Yes.
let's go to the next point. Tell us, Kilonzi, what do you
Okay, so
think?
I mean, I feel like this should have been the first point. And it's a point on confidence. I am a very big advocate for someone to be confident enough to get an opportunity, because I feel like everyone is trying to get the next thing. And there's so much competition that's going on. Sometimes you feel like you're not good enough. There's a whole
Imposter
topic
syndrome.
on imposter syndrome, yes, because like you never feel like you're ready for an interview. You always feel like something, or you need to do more, or you don't know enough, and you see an opportunity and you feel like you don't meet the requirements on the job description and all that. And in tech, there's a lot of noise in tech where people will always make you feel like, Diana is learning this new thing. I don't know it. So you are made to feel like you don't know it, or you don't know enough, so you don't shoot your shot. So confidence starts from you believing that, okay, this is what I know, so I can capitalize on what I know and leave out what I don't know, while I'm still learning elsewhere. But for this particular interview or for this particular job I'm trying to apply for, I need to be able to capitalize on what I know and amplify that more. Even in the interview room, you need confidence for you to be able to quote the right salary for yourself. You need confidence for you to know that, okay, I can reach out to this person on LinkedIn and tell them that, I know XYZ, and I think I'll be a good fit for your company. Can you put a good word for me, or something like that? So I think confidence it applies anywhere, tech or not tech, but you need it very, very much.
Yeah, and I think tied down to Kilonzi's point would be networking and building relationships. Because if you don't have the confidence to put your name out there, you won't be able to network and know what everybody else is doing. At tech, networking and building relationship is a very important aspect of being ready for the next job interview and even job hunting. I'll take a good example of these GDG platforms that are normally set up. You'd find many companies come to pitch their ideas. You'd find many other people in the tech industry, and you'd be able to meet, exchange ideas. And even somebody, let's say for example, if I personally was to go and maybe share my portfolio, somebody would be interested and they'd say, she stands out for some reason, so why not maybe invite her for a cup of coffee? And that's how many people out there have landed their jobs. It's not always through job interviews and everything.
Through referrals.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, most jobs
Through
are
referrals. And there is a difference between referrals and connections. That's very distinct. Like, referrals is when somebody knows you for your skills and they really believe in what you can do. Connection is this other thing that goes on in our country that doesn't even make sense.
So nepotism, my sister, my uncle, my uncle.
And it sucks.
It sucks. But I have maybe something that might not be in line with what you just said, or something that it's against that. But I feel like connections are not entirely bad. It's the attitude towards that, because there's someone who is not doing the actual preparation work, such that because your uncle works at company X, you can get the job. If you don't have the skills, you won't stay there. Yes, you get on the door. You get the position, but for you to even be promoted, be able to grow in that position, you need to do the work.
Exactly. That actually backs up my point. It's not against it. So connections are
They are good as long as you know how to use them. And I feel like also there's an attitude that goes around, and I've seen it a lot, where someone says, "Oh, I've not been able to get a job because I don't have a connection." Yes.
Do you really need a connection to get a job?
Good question. Because there's a lot of that. There's someone who's just sitting and they're like, I have not been, because they've sent 3 applications and they're tired, and they feel like, oh, so and so got it because they had connection, so let me rest because I don't have someone to connect me. Someone to connect you does not need to be your relative. It could be someone you've reached out on LinkedIn. It could be you taking up an internship instead of looking for that paid job. It could also be you putting yourself out there. Tech mostly is about what you can do, right?
Yeah.
So if you build a good thing or a good project, and you've shared it with people, you should be able to use that as a stepping stone to put your work out there and figure out how you can network and get opportunities or job opportunities based on what you've been able to.
Twitter, it was saying connections, as in if you have a connection, connect your friends. You don't have to be the only rich person in that circle. Then I saw a comment, someone saying, please specify friends who can do the job, because there are people who are connected and you go and tint the name of the person who connected you. You basically don't do what you have been taken there to do. Maybe you just become lazy. So, in as much as we all want connection, please don't go there and shine. Make that person, in future when he refers someone else to that employee, it will be a great opportunity.
Very important. I know someone who was referred to a job and they didn't show up for the interview, but that's story for another day. Like, I connect you, they're waiting for you on the other side and you don't show up.
Oh gosh. So I think you need to be careful again. I don't know, is it careful or what on who you connect?
As the one connecting, obviously you need to be able to know if I refer you to a job, Rona, you're capable of doing it, and you're also a good addition because you're part of my network, right? If you're part of my network and I introduce you to someone for a certain job, that's an addition to me because I feel like I've added someone else on the network.
Yeah.
But if you go and quote unquote fuck up, then it might not reflect
very
good
goodly
on me.
you.
Yes.
Also on the network, go for hackathons.
Yes, that's
Go for
another
meetups.
thing.
See the meetups that people organize
Yeah.
for techies. Go for those things.
Be a speaker.
Yeah, even on Twitter.
I think I
Spaces.
realized that even for the speakers, for instance, things like Google developers, the Google developers meetups, the content is not so hard. It's just someone showing us how to deploy.
Prepare.
Yeah.
You just prepare and
You already know how to do it.
Yeah. And give the speech.
A lot of things they actually teach are more beginner. I remember from
Friendly.
last year's JDG Nairobi, it was very, the topics I attended were all basic things that I already knew. But for someone who is starting out, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So if you can be a speaker, go and teach people something. It gives you a platform. It also gives you a
Puts your
chance.
name out there.
It puts your name out there, and who knows, your next opportunity might be coming from someone who listened to your talk.
Yeah, and thought you are very
Good.
on point.
Yes.
So
Next stop.
on to the next point. You could be all that. You could be a good negotiator. You could have great brands on LinkedIn and Twitter. You could go for all the networks. But if you don't have a good resume, the employee only takes 7 seconds to view it.
The employer, you mean?
The employer takes 7 seconds to look at your resume. So if your resume is not well articulated, that could make you not get the job. So the best thing is to customize it to the job that you're applying for. So if you have seen a post on LinkedIn, they're looking for a data engineer, go and see what are the roles that you're going to perform on the job. Look at the features. If they need you to be a DevOps, you know how to deploy things on cloud. You have to write that on your CV and also put experiences that you have had in relation to that specific job. That
like highlight that.
Yeah. They should appear more consistently
Yes.
on the CV.
Yeah.
I think there's also something else that we don't talk about enough. You see, on that keyword, when you go and apply for a job on, let's say, a job board, like these job boards that connect employers to employees, sometimes the potential employer doesn't even get to see your CV because it was flagged out.
Because of the
Yes, because of the keyword. If I'm looking for a software engineer who knows Python and there's nothing like Python reflecting on your CV, there is no way it's going to be filtered. It will just be filtered out. Yeah.
Because
So
most tech companies use that
yes.
board.
So they have a board or an algorithm that checks for what they are looking for. If it's not prioritized, it's not even pushed to the employer.
Yeah, so we should tailor our resumes and CVs
Based on the job.
It's I remember that we attended there's a event,
Google Sandbox
event, and they were saying,
Yeah.
those recruiters were actually saying the recruiter does not take more than 7 seconds.
Yeah.
7 seconds max. So you can imagine just a little time for you to just put yourself out there to show that person that you're worth it to go to the next stage. And I feel like if you don't, that is usually the most basic stage, right? So if your resume is not as good enough, then you'll never get to the interview stage. Yeah.
Do you know, and I always say this, and a potential recruiter told me once, and they said that at the very least, your resume should land you an interview. Do you know, landing an interview is the most important part of your of job application?
Yes.
Because it gives you a chance to vouch for yourself face to face.
Yeah.
And I mean, someone let it introduce you so that they are excited to even meet you. Then when you get that chance to even meet one person, a representative of that company, then take it and now start applying the rest of the things, right?
Yeah.
So it's very important that you tailor that resume to fit into that. And I think I also talk from a place of someone who does multiple things. I do software engineering, I do DevOps, I do tech writing. And I'm here doing big data. So I feel like for me, yes, in as much as I have a couple of things I can apply for, a wide range, it's not every job that one CV can cater for. If I want a job that, and also for people who are already in the industry for long and they've done a lot of things, you need to always be able to filter out and know, okay, if I'm applying for a data engineering role, I need to tailor my resume or pick out the experiences that are more, because they're not also going to spend a lot of time on your CV like you said. So you need to be able to highlight what is more related to data as compared to anything else that is not related, because you want to make it as short as possible. I think there was something previously I used to hear, and people would be like, yeah, this vice chancellor at this university has a CV of 47 pages, and it used to be very yes, yeah, it used to be
like
very
you're not
much
doing anything in life.
yes. But in actual sense, when you're actually applying for that job, you don't need 47 pages. You just need like 1 page or 1.5 so that the recruiter can be able to filter out your CV. Yeah.
Yes.
So just to make sure you customize it and pick out experiences that are related to what you're applying for. Yeah.
Yes. Perfectly put. So I think we have exhausted that very broadly.
Today we are pumped up.
We are very pumped up. I think the next point for me would be build a portfolio for tech. Actually, remember we want to see what have you done over, what have you worked on, what are you working on. And I think there's a time that Kilonzi, you are the one who was telling me, better have something that you're working on. It might be complex and you've not finished it, but once you get to that interview room, you can say, I have been working on this.
Yes.
I have not yet finished it, but you can show them I have been working on something, and that's where mostly the portfolio will come from you building projects, which are very key. Because I think most people even these days don't some will not use your resume. They will actually want your GitHub link and want to see what have you been doing over the past couple of days or years.
Are they deployed?
After
Heroku went down, people suffered.
I feel like I was reviewing someone else's resume the other day, and they didn't have a lot of the projects deployed, and said Heroku brought them down. So at the very least now, invest in a deployment site or use the free ones that are available, but make sure that whatever you have on your portfolio, it's actually visible somewhere else.
Yes,
it's not local to your machine, localhost.com.
Yes. So build your portfolio through working on those projects. And okay, we have I'm thinking in terms of someone who has been working, how do they get to
for someone who's already working?
Yes, not a beginner.
Not a beginner. Okay. So I've realized that when you've been working at one company for a long time, sometimes you might be working on the same project for 3 years. Do you know? Yeah, a lot of companies, like, you're building on the same product over and over again. Maybe you're maintaining it, so you don't have time to build as many products for your portfolio as possible, right?
Yeah.
That's where passion projects come in. So if you've been working at one company for a long time and now it's time for you to transition to another, while you're still there, I think you still need to keep trying and build projects on the side to build up on your portfolio, and also to be able to figure out how can I also tailor what I've been doing to update your portfolio, obviously, but also make sure that you keep building on the side.
Yes. Yes, Dee, please go.
I think I tell people, even though you are working or employed by someone, have something that you are doing on the side. At least 2 hours every day, you're doing your own stuff.
I think there's a rule that goes 8 hours, give your employer 8 hours.
8 to 5, then 5 to 8.
And then some other 8 give it to yourself.
Yes.
At least do something for yourself each and every day.
Yes. Yeah. And just to add on that again, last year there were a lot of layoffs from the big tech industries, and someone was actually saying, I don't know, or did I see it on LinkedIn, that they were interviewing these people now from Microsoft,
Google,
I don't know how they're called, Douglas, and they were saying that these people were not passing the interviews, the technical interviews, and that was actually, for me,
we need a whole episode about this big tech thing.
because they took a lot of time. So someone who was laid off and he had stayed at Microsoft for like 20 years.
No. There is no way.
Do you think he was doing data structures? I think some people
not.
just forget about it.
They got comfortable.
And there's nothing as bad as getting comfortable in your current workplace.
But it's very easy. Like,
it's such a big company, right?
It is, but
you have made it to the big. What more do I
like
need to
average?
do? I average
10 years,
I made it in
15
life.
years,
Where
20
else?
years.
Where else?
Okay,
You don't expect something like that to come after 20 years of working there.
Yeah, okay. After 20 years, you really don't expect to be laid off. But I really believe, in as much as you feel like you've made it to your dream company, relaxing has never been an option.
Okay.
Correct.
So please, whether you're working, whether you are a beginner, keep building projects which translate to building your portfolio.
Yes.
Yeah.
That builds to the next point. Keep learning new stuff. Don't be stuck in one project or one language because you have a job. You don't want to upskill. Learn new stuff. If you're a software developer or a backend developer, you can start small. Learn a front-end language. Learn something new each and every time.
Yeah.
Don't just be stuck with one thing.
Yes.
Then also staying updated with the new technologies that are coming.
Yeah.
Can you imagine there's a techie somewhere who has not used ChatGPT?
For real.
Wait. That's a thing. Like they haven't used ChatGPT.
Oh, they've not even heard of it.
Do you know I was there. I was that person.
Oh no.
No, listen, mostly because I as I said, I overthink. So I'm thinking, you guys, this is a trap.
Really?
No, you're paranoid. You cannot have this discussion.
Please.
People they have, imagine the data that they have right now. For
My dear, they've already
everyone.
created it with billions of data. What would your small data do to them?
You're basically a tiny. What can you call?
I don't even
No,
know.
if you
A
think
pebble in an
I thought I
ocean.
was an overthinker, but Joy, what?
no, it's just
You
that
can-
when you think of it in the security sense.
No.
There's not-
Are you even sure that when we type your name into ChatGPT, they'll be able to recognize you?
Of course not.
They will say you have
it's-
not done
it's not-
anything.
But they have data. They have your data. You've logged in. Okay, anyway, you
It's
logged
just
in
my
everywhere.
email.
But anyway, I was on that. I was a little bit. I took a step. I didn't get into ChatGPT immediately.
I got into ChatGPT 2020 when they started talking about it, even before I got to use it in 2023.
Yeah.
I'm always excited about new technologies, but like Diana is saying, I feel like you need to stay curious
Yeah.
for you
Very
to
true.
be able to succeed in tech. And I understand the paranoia, but
From the cyber security.
aspect. So that's why, you can still, if you're looking at it from a cybersecurity aspect, we understand, right? But what measures have you put on your machine such that when you go into those sites that you're not vulnerable,
Attacked.
right?
Tell us.
So you can think about it from that aspect, so that you can. So you can actually think about it from that aspect. Like, yes, I want to be more careful, but I'm curious as well. So what steps do I take to
ensure that I am secure online?
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
The fear
yes,
paralyzing me.
yes.
The fear is
So-
stopping you from learning new
From
things and
learn-
exploring.
and landing your next opportunity.
I think Twitter is the most convenient app to get to know what's
What's
trending.
going on,
Like
yes.
now,
Oh
the
yeah.
chat GPT-4.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Twitter. People are commenting on it. You can always
Yes.
use Twitter to learn
Also,
the
Google News.
upcoming.
Google News.
Google News is a nice source. Like they keep updating, especially technological data. There's a way in which you can filter and find like the news that you really want to
Yeah.
get on a daily.
Yeah.
It can even send you notifications if you want to. And then there's another platform. I think
There
it's
was a
called
time I was
Hacker News.
focused.
Is it Hacker News or
Hacker News or
It's
Hacker
Hacker News.
Noon. Hacker Noon.
It's either one. I used to even to subscribe to their newsletter.
I used to
that
I
gets
also
subscribe
subscribe
to
in so
Science
many
Daily.
issues. I don't read.
You are paranoid. Issues you're paranoid.
Yes, I think also now that point of you stay updated, you keep learning and all that. I think there's someone who's stuck on one language since 2012.
Yes.
Anyway, so because you got married to Laravel, that's all that you do.
Muikali.
So I think
Python.
Please, I've done Python, I've done Ruby, I've done
Hey,
React,
sorry.
I've done
Yeah,
Angular.
that's sorry.
I can list.
sorry,
It's just
sorry.
banter.
Oh,
Banter.
Okay, it's banter. Let's continue.
She almost took it personal. I think so.
Please, you've seen
In
the
that
languages I
same
have.
point, yes, please, you can hire Mwikali for those languages.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think for another thing that ties to that point is on be flexible and also be open-minded. I think because you got into tech to do software development, it doesn't mean that you should stay as a software developer. There are a lot
Forever.
of paths that you can take from being a software developer to being something else.
Yeah.
Like Mikali, you are doing software development. Now you're doing data science.
Yep.
you used your Python skills to transfer them to data science.
Yeah.
The same case with Diana, right?
Yeah.
And also the same case with you, Rona, or you are doing data science, you are doing software development, and you're in cyber, you're scripting and all that. So I feel like there are a lot of things that you can explore as long as you have your foot in. Don't box yourself. Sometimes you're looking for a job as a software developer and it's not coming. So how best can you now apply the same transferable skills? Which transferable skills do you have that can be applied elsewhere? If you're a software developer, you can become a software development tester.
Yes.
You can become a QA analyst. You can become a tech writer. You can transition to DevOps easily because you just need to understand the cloud and how to configure infrastructure and all that. So I feel like in as much as you're trying to look for a job in one particular field, part of the job application is in making sure that you tailor your resume and also understand what's going on in the industry and what you have and how it can be applied elsewhere. Very important.
You talked of the box, and then I thought of this quote that we used to be. I don't know if you remember. There's a priest back in high school, and he used to say,
"Why are you singling us out?
Sorry.
Why are you leaving us out? That's so
high school.
Okay." Diana, do you remember? You can continue.
He used to say, don't think, like, people say think outside the box, right?
Yes.
But thing is, think like you are not in a box.
Yes.
You say, like, when you think inside the box, you're already in a box. Yes. So think.
Like, there are a lot of possibilities.
Yes.
And let me plug this site. It's called faithkilonzi.com. I share a lot of resources there, but I also think there's also another resource. There's this resource called roadmap.sh. You can see various roadmaps of being in tech. So just type roadmap.sh. We'll put it on our show notes, hopefully, and also put my blog there, faithkilonzi.com.
Yes, definitely promoting. Definitely promoting Kilonzi.
It's not sponsored.
And I think to wrap this all up and talk about soft skills, in as much as we tend to ignore the fact that it is important to be able to communicate, I think it ties down to Kilonzi's first point, which was confidence.
Yes.
The way you're able to communicate with people, the way you're able to put your issues out there, the way you're able to speak out if something is not going as you plan is a very important skill in tech and even in job hunting, because you'd imagine you're called in for an interview and you really don't know how to express yourself.
Yes.
You really don't know how to communicate. And even this applies to emails. The way you respond to emails. You've gotten a job offer and you're there writing
Hey, thank you.
Yes, exactly. That's a very perfect example.
And
or
email
using
without
the
a subject.
emojis.
Exactly. And inserting emojis. So in as much as we want to focus on the tech stuff, we also have to focus on soft skills. Build yourself up, be able to communicate, be attentive, be a problem solver, be all these other things that aren't techy, and build yourself to be an all-rounded person. And I'm pretty sure when that interview opportunity comes, you'll definitely smash it.
And it's not even about also the probably interview part. You probably want to become entrepreneur.
Yes.
And remember, you need these communication skills to pitch to your investors so that you can be able to move them enough for you to invest in your startup or whatever. So
very important. I think I read somewhere that, maybe it was my tweet, but I read somewhere that
she's even promoting her Twitter. Yes, go on.
Promoting.
I read somewhere that you can actually have all the skills, like technical skills you have, but if you don't know how to package them and present them to a potential client or potential employer, you know, they might not work for you. I'm coaching someone who has all the certifications that me personally I want, but they don't know how to package it. But this week we've landed an interview. We are hoping that it goes on well. So I've been helping her try to figure out things, how to structure them and how to package a resume.
Yeah.
Because you can have the greatest certifications, the greatest skills, but if you don't know how to package that and put it before an employer or a potential client, it's as good as nothing.
And also that's on around soft skills, there's a very important question that comes up. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself. It is a very important question, and learning how to answer that particular question is very key. Let's say, for example, if I was to shoot a question right now to Diana Mungina, tell us about yourself. What would you say?
I think it starts with what your name is, who you are, what do you do. Then after that, you say the experience. What have you done in the field? But you start
and how
with
does it tie to what you're applying for?
Start with what you are doing now, then it moves backwards. But always whatever you are saying, relate it to what you want to do in that company. So
Correct.
Also, something else, don't forget to mention your hobbies. Nobody wants a boring person. You never know, you might sync with your manager just because they also like reading novels.
Hiking.
Yeah, because they like hiking.
Please, there was
You
an
never
interview
know.
I was reading the 5 a.m. club, which I don't practice anymore.
Wow.
I was reading the Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club, and the HR of that company was reading the same book. So the conversation just moved to that book.
You see now.
And I was so happy.
I feel like it's
Just say relevant.
relevant.
Make sure it's relevant.
Don't say that you like watching. They will
I
say
know.
I like
you'll not be
chilling
working.
on Netflix.
Tell them I can do a limited
Watching
series for...
No. Watching TV isn't part of this, please.
I think it should be relevant.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. And also something that is kinda that puts you out there as somebody who is different and kinda unique.
Yeah.
Like someone who reads.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think
basic.
wow.
It should not be basic.
Yeah,
I
basic
Yes.
is not an option.
Yes,
I
it's
saw
not.
someone, I think on, I don't know if I should mention the influencer, but I saw something, someone said how they answered that tell me about yourself question, and I laughed. So they said how they love chips and coffee. And
No!
please don't go. We don't want to know about
We actually
that.
need a whole episode on the do's and don'ts of interviews.
Of an interview,
do,
yes.
Because there's someone who actually... Okay, we'll talk about it that time, but nobody cares whether you guys come from money or you guys come from riches, because it's not safe out here. It's
Nobody
not safe.
cares
Nobody
if you
cares
like
how many
watching
siblings you
Netflix.
It's like the people who have the date of birth in their CV. Do you know that can be used against you?
Yeah, exactly.
Or marital status that you're single. Do you know, I've realized that if you're single, you are more likely to get less money.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
They would think
Because
you don't
now
They
have
say you don't have
bills.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
And they also think you're not secure because you can easily hop up and about.
Yeah,
Because,
that's
there's nothing tying.
Yes,
yeah.
you are free bird.
Oh, but I also think the other part can also make you not get a job.
Why?
Like married.
they'd think you're too busy.
Yeah, they think.
Unless you're a mother or they see you when you're
Yeah.
pregnant.
Oh gosh. So,
Yes.
please.
So, I mean, there are a lot of factors that can influence you not getting a job. But at the end of the day, I feel like we've done a good run with this episode, trying to figure out what you need to have: a portfolio, a good resume, confidence, and all these
Also-
things that you need. Yeah.
I also understand that it is not as easy as just branding yourself, networking, creating a good resume, but always be persistent. You may not get it today, but you have a few lessons that you've learned from that job application. You can use it to the next. So don't give up because you didn't get the job right now.
And I will end it there by saying hope is something that is very important to us as human beings. So thank you guys for
Listening to us.
We are waiting for that subscribe, like, comment. Please feel free to just engage with us. Tell us what you would want to hear probably on our next episode. But thank you so much. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.